Yep. Good. Yes.
Call the administrative board to order. And I don't know if there's anybody, call the operations board to order. Like,
Chair and vice chair of both projects.
by default, I'll call you all to order too. We're gonna start, with the update from the director on the accountant treasurer.
Okay, so just in regards to the accounting, the last board meeting, we asked to go out and search for contracting services for the accountant position instead of, well, in conjunction with the part-time, which we had at 20,000.
Madam Chair,
Position.
it's hard to hear.
All right, hold on one second. Because it's not going through that. Yep, that's why.
Can you hear me now, Jim?
That's better.
Okay, perfect.
Turn
Thank
that.
you, Jim.
I'll just stay close to this then. So I went out, sent out emails to, I believe, 5 to 6 different contracting services companies. Only one responded. That was Eric Kincher. I believe the town of Ocam currently utilizes that service as well. His proposal was $36,000 for the year to handle the accountant position for the district. So now we have two options. We either contract the services out at $36,000 or attempt to post and try to acquire a part-time accountant for the district at $20,800. So those are our two options for the administrative board moving forward. If we were to go the route with the contracted services, seeing how last board meeting, or 2 meetings prior to, the board did accept the position for the support services coordinator, which would do the treasury portion of that. So we could take the $18,200 that we did put aside for a part-time treasurer that's already in the budget and move that towards the accountant position, and we have $39,000 to allocate towards that $36,000. So, administrative board.
Go ahead. You want me to go? I mean, I think I would post it to get some feelers out there. I don't like just one person, company putting in an offer. I'd like to see more than one. So you know you kind of where you're at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it's not a bid type thing, but
I did put it out to multiple companies.
you did
Only one responded.
just one.
Yep.
Really?
I think it was a total of 5 to 6 companies that I reached out to.
Shock.
Same thing with legal. That's my next thing.
Guess they don't need to work.
I guess
Yeah,
so.
well, I mean, you did what you could.
I did my due diligence for the district. I reached out to 5 to 6 different agencies
All
or
right,
companies.
that's for the contract. But you didn't put anything out for an
Part-time, correct.
part-time employee.
So it's which route do we want to go? Contract the services where we know we can try and get someone, or go the accountant route and try to see what we can get. I think the administrators know what the field is like right now for accountants. I don't know how easy this is gonna be or not easy, but
At our last meeting, we sort of, I think the consensus was that we felt that a contracted service would be more in line with what our needs are. However, I guess if we have anybody online,
general.
Jim, what you got?
Hi, yes, good morning. I did have an opportunity to check with our local accountant for the town. And she would, would be interested in doing some services much less than what Eric is proposing. I'm not sure if the board would be interested. I could certainly have her apply. You could talk to her. She doesn't work on Fridays. She can, do some stuff after hours. But, I'm not sure what you guys would be interested in. But I did check as asked.
Did she give a price?
No, it would be probably less than $20,000. I think, when we would initially had talked about this, I had mentioned to her somewhere around 18,000. So it's a far cry from 36.
So I think that if we're going to go that route, that we'd want to put the position as a part-time position and see what other candidates would be interested, if that's the route. Other board members?
Yep, you have.
I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
Maribel.
Maribel?
Hello. Yes, we used Eric Kinchfer in the town of Oakham. The services are great. Our books are phenomenal. But with that being said, I do concur that it's nice that we got this quote from Eric, and this would be effective July 1st. So in the meantime, I think to do our due diligence the full way, I would support putting it out to the public just to cross-reference what the options are out there before just going this route. Again, I can't speak enough good words about Eric and his team, but I think that it would probably be beneficial just to put it out there first before making that decision.
Okay, great. We have a motion on the floor. Maribel, do you want to take the second on that?
Sure, I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Anybody online? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. This would be a full group vote. Stephen's here.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just as a point of clarification,
Yeah.
I also serve as an assistant town manager in Auburn.
Yeah.
And I will be holding the administrative seat for the town of Auburn. The deputy fire chief will have the operational seat,
Okay,
so I would be voting for administrative.
okay. So we'll include.
Yep.
Okay. All
Oh,
right.
and Madam Chair, for a point of clarification, sorry, I just wanted, should we put, like a, because I know everything's so time sensitive, like a cap on applications? Of how long to accept them before,
Does 3 weeks sound reasonable?
You good with that, Mike?
I mean, ideally it'd be 3
Maybe
days
to the
because
end of this month?
I know that we're right up against it, yeah, but by the end of April.
I maybe suggest 4 weeks, just because taxes are due and it's kind of a tax-oriented position. But with finance, just people might be really busy for the next week and a half. That we might be interested in. Those sorts of people.
So if
Is
you
it 6
do the last day of May, Friday's
say
May
it's a-
1st, or Friday, or the week of the 4th?
May 4th?
That would be the first Monday of the first full week of May.
Right? I mean,
I think-
these are personnel. I think we should.
But I'm getting a full ab workout here,
Yeah,
so this is great.
I
Mike,
mean, Mike, you have an interest in filling this as soon as possible. We want to do the right thing. Just keep us in the loop at the admin for. I don't think we should, in our motion, tell you what your deadline for this should be, right?
Sure, yeah.
how about we post it,
Post it.
we post it, available until filled.
Sure.
And then we'll put a mid-range deadline that you'll start reviewing applications, but you can word it so that it's open until filled. So a date to start reviewing and
Because, I mean, you can go to a contractor at any point.
Right.
You know what I mean? If the accountant part-time can't handle it, and she needs 40, 50 hours a week, then it's probably worth looking for contract. Yeah, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm good.
all right, we'll do a roll call vote. Let's start with those online. Mike, please.
We got Jim,
Jim Moore,
Yes.
Maribel Ocam,
Yes.
Melanie Barry.
Yes.
I think that's everybody from online.
Hubbardston, yeah,
Yes.
Auburn,
Yes.
Yes.
Spencer, I.
Spencer, aye.
Oxford, yes.
All right, that's unanimous. The next item on the agenda, a very similar conversation for the legal representation. When we left our last meeting, we had a quote from KP Law. We had asked Mike to reach out to some additional firms. We gave him a list of the other firms that some of our communities use. Mike, what did you find out?
Again, no response. No response from anybody. I reached out to Cedar Law, Bob Hennigan, and Mead and Talman. So I reached out to those three agencies and haven't received anything back from them. So again, KP Law was the only responsive party.
What was their cost again? I don't remember. Cool.
Way too much for us.
Yeah. I don't have it with
I
me.
think it was like 220 or something.
Yeah, 220 or 225, I think, per hour.
That's what they charge towns.
Yeah.
I think we talked a little bit about that. One of the advantages with KP is that the majority of our communities use KP, so we weren't going to be duplicating efforts. But I think there was also some discussion that there may be some conflict since so many of our communities use KP. How did the board want to move forward?
I think we only have one option at this point. So,
Is that a motion?
so be it.
All right. Motion on the floor to contact with KP Law.
Jim from Warren,
Yes.
Maribel Ocam,
Yes.
Melanie Barry.
Yes.
Hubbardston,
Yes.
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 Spencer, I.
Oxford.
another unanimous. All right. Thank you, board. The final item on our is what we're all here for. Mike, if you want to catch us up, I know that you've been fast and furious the last couple of weeks.
Yep. So let me just read off my phone there. So today's presentation is one of the most important decisions this district is going to make moving forward. What we're discussing is not just a building, it's the foundation for the future of the Central Mass Regional 901 District. As we continue expanding to serve 11 communities, our facility and operational model are no longer sustainable. We need a solution that supports modern 911 operations, enhances response safety, and position us for long-term success. We're also working against a critical timeline. As outlined in the presentation that you'll see, our ability to secure 911 state funding is directly tied to this decision that we make today. Delaying today puts funding, the timelines, and ultimately the entire project at risk. So our goal this morning is clear: review the options, understand the impacts, and leave here with a defined path forward. With that, let's just jump right in. And pretty much we just went through all that. So again, just to touch base on the timeline, April 15th is the deadline for the development grant submission. After that, July to June would be the procurement, the due diligence, the design, planning, and approvals. And then FY27 would be the major project renovation or build, depending on which way the boards decide to go today. So again, 15th, really today is the day that we need to really make that decision to give me enough time to prepare my narrative and the development grant for the state for approval moving forward. So again, we pretty much already touched based on this. So again, all options that we're evaluating on is the operational functionality, scalability, location and workforce, cost, timeline, feasibility, and ability to support modern animal. So the first property that we'll just run through right now is 470 Southbridge Street in Auburn. It's listed at $4,950,000 with the other option, to actually secure it, we would have to pay the $5,500,000 to pay out so that the owner can pay out the lease agreements that he has with the two current tenants in that building. This building has a large footprint, double the size of the Charlton option that we had on the table until that fell through. It's central to a lot of the major highways, Mass Pike 290, Route 12, and 395. Does have a strong workforce accessibility and potential for future build out. So a lot of the pros are it's a centralized location, scalable, strong recruitment advantage, and possibility for revenue in the first year due to the fact that there's two tenants in there currently right now. If we were to purchase the building in July, we could extend those leases until we're ready to get into the building, because that first year, we're not going to be in that building for the first year. Maybe an architect doing measuring and all that stuff, but for that first year, there's going to be no renovations going on in that building. So technically, we could extend those leases, and then those lease payments would be revenue right straight to the district. So that's a pro. Cons: requires renovation and build out and upfront investment. So,
Mike, what's the ideal size space that you want for now and for the future?
30,000 and higher. It was 16,000 and higher before, but just looking at the Auburn building, Spencer building, and a couple other buildings, to position ourselves for future growth and the ability to acquire other agencies, having that extra additional space is going to put us in that spot. Coming in at 16,000, that's going to limit us to what we can accept. Going bigger, obviously allows us a lot more potential. So as you can see, the top picture is currently what the property currently looks like from the outside. The picture below is just an AI-generated rendering of the building of what its potential could look like. Not saying that's what it's going to look like, but it's just potential to show you what it could actually look like. It's roughly 32,000 square feet, has 1 acre. It's fully sprinkled, sprinklered, has 50 plus spaces, and was built in 1986.
Like how many consoles will this facility handle?
So we haven't had the time to reach out like we did with Charlton to the console manufacturers. And without having CAD drawings of each property, I can't say. But just knowing that floor was, I think, 10,000 square feet, looking at those building plans, that main floor that we walked through, as soon as you walk in those doors, is about 10,000 square feet. We'd have to exclude everything under that left mezzanine for the EOC and training room. So you're looking at probably between 8,500 to 9,000 square feet of floor space. Without doing the math off the top of my head, I know Charlton was 80 feet by 50. I don't know what that comes out to square feet. If someone could calculate that real quick.
80 by what?
80 by 55. 4,000. So Charlton was 4,000 square feet.
So how many consoles right now for the 5 towns?
For the front 5 towns,
Yeah, come,
3.
3? And
We,
so when
should
we
be
go
at
to
4.
11, how many are required?
so that goes back towards our staffing model.
Yeah.
So that'll change. We'll have 4 police dispatchers, 4 fire dispatchers, and 4 call takers and a supervisor. So that's what, 12, 13 consoles just alone for
13 for the 11.
the 11 now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11 consoles. Charlton was able to hold, I believe, 28 consoles. Yeah. So and that was at 4,000 square feet, I think. So
Oh, okay.
moving to 9,000, you're gonna double that.
Oh,
So,
okay. All right, thank you.
Like just as a comparison.
Yep.
Westcom is 18,400 square feet, and they have the potential to build out 30 consoles at 18,400.
And yeah, it all depends on what console provider you go to. Some consoles are gonna be shorter than others, so like when we reached out about Charlton, reached out in regards to Charlton, we reached out to 5 different agencies. And all 5 of them had different console capabilities. The largest was 28, one was only like 15. So it all depends on the actual console itself. Again, just another AI rendering of what the inside of Auburn can look like. So if everybody watched the video, this is that main floor that you looked in that had all the flooring materials as soon as you walk in that front door. Yeah, and that's what it could look like. Any questions regarding the Auburn property, 470 Southbridge Street? Okay, perfect. Next option on the table is 1 Linden Street in Spencer. It's approximately 20,000 square feet total. It's pretty much in the center of town on town water and sewer. Large open floor plan. Does have high ceilings and window lines. Built in 1900. Pros, unique opportunity to develop a purpose-built regional facility. Likely a lower acquisition cost relevant to the size and strong potential for a custom build out. Cons, the floors are restricted. So each floor is about 5,000 square feet. And I believe on each floor, there's about 2, 4, 6, I think 8 pillars, I believe, on the floor that you would not be able to move. They are load bearing, they're holding up the entire property. So that'll restrict the console environment on how you can lay that out on some of those floors. And again, if we started to grow, then we would look at possibly having to take away amenities from the dispatchers from another floor to build out more dispatch console space. So that is a con with that property. Longer timeline, as we can tell, left side is the rendering, could look amazing. But the right side is what its current condition is in. Does need a lot of work. That's the inside, and there's some of those pillars that I was talking about that are scattered throughout the building. So yeah. Questions regarding Wood Linden Street?
There you go.
Jim, go ahead.
Mike, with regards to this location, do we have an estimate as to what the cost would be to bring this building up to modern day standards?
Yep, so towards the end of this PowerPoint, I'll have a price comparison of all 4 properties on the slide. So if you don't mind waiting until the end, I'll hit
Okay.
that for you. It's just quite a few slides away. But I'll hit that for you.
Thank you.
Is
Yeah.
that what I heard?
Yeah. I'd erase that one.
Next option is 167 North Spencer Road in Spencer. This property is 35,685 square feet. It's an industrial building. formerly it was the Spencer Tapestry Distribution Center. It was built in 2013. It's new construction, mill style building. So it's wide open. Some of the pros, it's modern construction compared to the older mill buildings, large open floor areas, ideal for dispatch conversion, reduced structural unknowns versus older properties. And again, one of the cons is still requires the interior conversion to an N1 center. So this property that's what it looks like on the outside. We wouldn't really do any modifications to the outside, as this property is pretty much in the middle of the woods and no one's going to see it. And the exterior of the building actually looks really nice for being built in 2013. This is just an idea of what would possibly have to happen is build a access road out to Northwest Road to not disrupt the Abbey way of life. They like it quiet. They don't like too many cars coming in and out. So this was one of the proposed ideas, was to put a road coming off the back of the property to Northwest Road to satisfy that concern from the Abbey.
What's the other entrance to get there?
Well,
There's the current.
There's 3 other entrances to get there, but they all pass by like the church, the infirmary, the living
Okay,
areas.
all right.
So
What's the approximate length of roadway?
it's a little under half a mile. I think it's 2,500 feet.
Quick question. A dispatch center will have more traffic than a brewery or whatever that was?
The brewery, their people were the workers. So the monks were the workers.
Oh.
They only had trucks coming in to pick up the lead. That was really the only traffic coming in, since it was the trucks taking this part of the facility. Yeah, so during shift time, so what they were worried about is during shift swap, would be about, was it 13 to 15 vehicles coming in and 13 to 15 vehicles going out. The monks do walk the streets, they're private roads, so it's a disruption to them. So this was just in that. Since then, the father has added different looks to come in that would be less disruption without having to build a road. So again, that would all have to be discussed at a later point. Again, we just put up a security fence around this with a couple motorized gates depending on where the entrances would be. This is just an overview of the look. Right now, there is only parking, I think, from about here down to here. Everything else is not built out as a parking lot right now, so that would just have to be built out just a little bit. I think all of this right here is currently grass right now. So that parking lot would have to be extended a little bit and parking spots be added. This is another AI rendering of what it would look like inside. So this floor space right here is about close to 14,000 square feet of space just in this one area, with another area that has, I think, just under or just over 8,000 square feet, where a lot of amenities, boardroom, bunk rooms, all the other administrative offices would technically be in. So it would be building out pretty much just 2 large rooms out of the entire facility. It does have a whole administrative wing already built onto it, with a bunch of offices that can be move-in ready as well. So those would be pretty much the 2 rooms inside, either the driveway outside and the parking lot. Oh,
I just wanted to point out to everyone, there's a lot more pictures of this building because we had to put something on for the monks to talk to them about it. So that's why we have a little bit more photos of the outside, because they needed to understand the impact.
just again, part of the area for the outside break area for the employees. Floor plan. I would have did this for Auburn, but the plans that I got, I can't really manipulate at the moment. They weren't the greatest ones that I received, so I will have something like that at a later date if need be. But this is just the plans that I have. This is kind of what I was talking about. That was that big room. This is that other large room that would have to just all walls be put up. It's a large open area with nothing in it currently right now. That administrative wing that I was talking about, this is all currently already there. So that's Spencer. Questions regarding North Spencer Road before I move on?
Said that there are a lot of private roads that currently lead to it. Who does snow removal on those? Is it the town or is it the contractor hired by the monks?
Monks, the monks do it.
Second option.
Yeah, they have,
Do they do good? Would it be problematic for staff if we were unable to build that other entrance?
Yeah, I don't, if we built the other entrance, we would take care of that ourselves.
Yeah.
But if not, I've never been up to that area during a snowstorm. I don't know if, Chief has.
so we used to have a fire truck up there, so they always made sure it was kept plowed and sanded. Sand, no salt. But the main entrance that I was looking at on the Browning Pond Road, it's half a mile, short road, goes right out to Browning Pond Road, which is serviced by the town. So that would be the main entrance that I think we should use, without that other entrance, and then you just have to clear around the lot. But they have full-time staff per se that are not monks that may be problems. So that would facilities.
And just to step back a couple slides here in regards to Auburn. So outside of Auburn, we would again put up a fence as well. And there would just be minimum work that would be able to front entrance to make that work. So it wasn't just a straight on shot towards the front of the building, but very small minimum work to the actual driveway to make that work as well. Did miss that on the last one there. Any other questions regarding North Spencer Road? Okay. Option 4 is Unified Parkway in Sutton. This would be a building built to spec and then leased. Pros, it's new construction, no structural unknowns, and it's set back from the public, like the Spencer building. Cons, no central, it's not central to all communities and could push occupancy 12 to 24 months, just depending on the builder themselves. Not much to really show because it's built to spec. Questions regarding Sutton? Okay, so just to go over, so I did preliminary threat assessment of all properties, which that is being evaluated by foot access, vehicle threat, standoff distance, the visibility and exposure, access control potential, natural surveillance, and overall security posture. So starting with North Spencer Road this time. Overall, it was the lowest risk, most secure site. Only true public access is Route 31. All internal roads are privately owned, low traffic, easily monitored and controlled. It's a natural security buffer. That's ultimately that. Regarding vehicle threat, there are long, windy approach from Route 31. There are no direct line of sight into the facility themselves. Advantages, early detection, multiple opportunities for gate control, surveillance, interdiction if needed. Compared to all the other sites, Auburn, direct exposure, Charlton, direct highway access, Sutton still accessible internally. This is the hardest site to approach quickly with a vehicle. Again, evaluating the foot access, no sidewalks, no pedestrian traffic, deep wooded surroundings. Any person on foot would be immediately out of place, highly visible over time, ideal for critical infrastructure. The standoff distance, like it's stated multiple times, it's deeply set off the road, surrounded by large areas of land. Visibility, extreme low visibility from public roads, not easily identifiable as a 911 center. Benefits, reduced chance of opportunist targeting and walk-ins, protest activity as well. That was Spencer. Next up, Sutton was the second ranked low risk, high defensible design dependent. Again, located within a large industrial park, multiple internal roads, but not truly private like the Abbey, shared with other commercial users. You can design controlled entry points, but you can't fully eliminate the outside traffic. There's no single choke point. Vehicles can circulate within the park before reaching the site. Vehicle threat, direct access from the industrial road network, likely straighter approach paths than the Abbey, unless that was designed differently, which would definitely change that. Advantages, again, gate control, security setbacks, traffic common ideas. Limitations, more predictable and accessible approach routes, less natural delay in vehicle arrival, better than Auburn and Charlton. But Charlton's not even an option anymore. Not as secure as the Abbey. So foot access, low pedestrian traffic overall, but some employee vendor foot presence in the park. Advantages, no sidewalks, residential, limited casual foot traffic. Individuals can blend in as workers or vendors. Standoff distance, strong potential, can design deep setbacks, layered perimeter security. Strong, but not as isolated as Spencer Abbey, better than Auburn. Visibility, again, moderate visibility within the industrial environment. Not obvious public facing building, less random public interaction, still discoverable via business activity nearby tenants. Again, that all could change depending on the site location for Sutton as well, depending on where they were to put that. I think that spot was the location. I haven't seen any updated plans on where they would put that building. I believe there's 2 other buildings going on that site as well, but not sure what that would look like moving forward. Next property is 470 Southwood Street. Moderate high risk, constrained by existing conditions. So in regards to access control, it's located on high traffic commercial corridor. Multiple access points likely exist. It's critical, cannot fully control site access without major redesign. Vehicle threat, close proximity to major roads, direct approach routes. Risks are limited setback, higher vehicle exposure, mitigation bollards, which was in my packet that I sent out when we did the walkthrough. We would implement bollards around the property as well as a non-rammable fence as well across the property to help mitigate that vehicle threat as much as possible. Foot access, high pedestrian business activity, easily for individuals to approach unnoticed. But we would have security systems that could help with that as well. Blending into the environment is hard to do. Standoff, existing building placement, development parcel, visibility. Risks are easily identifiable location and high public exposure. On to Linden Street, highest risk, least defensible. Located in town center environment, it's open to public road access. Very little access control able to be implemented on this property. Vehicle threat, direct vehicle access, no buffer or delay. Standoff distance, no room for a protective buffer. It's pretty much close to the roadway, hard to set those buffers. Constraint walk-up exposure, no way to distinguish normal versus threat. Visibility, again, the risk easily identified, public facing, which we're trying not to be public facing. So just as a summary to all of that, the rankings are as is, just going over all those, I believe, 8 points that we've just reviewed.
Question. Does the state 911 or whatever they are, is there any state land? I mean, there's a lot around. Is there any available to build on? That you know of? Is there any, did we look into that?
State land now, I don't know how we would acquire that.
Well, I see 911 obvious.
They will not do that because it's a competitive grant. They give it to one, not to give it to all.
Okay.
So ultimately, what you have to do is to exhaust all the buildings,
All right.
building process, all the processes is within your 11 communities, well, now 11 communities.
So it's just my mind wandering. That's all.
Yep.
Just to follow up that, the town of Westboro was trying to build a fire station on state land and the state would not entertain. So,
It's a great neighbor.
Yeah.
State is a great neighbor.
If they sell something, they have to offer it to everybody.
Yes.
Agreed.
Again, just looking at the overall facility ranking, based on the operations pros, cons, security threat assessment, and then timeline, which speak to occupancy. Again, just looking at those factors, Spencer, again, is on the top there as number 1. I'll let you all take a look at that. I won't read. It's a lot to read. So why is net ranked number 1? Security, operational fit, risk profile, and control. Trade-offs are not the fastest option, requires coordination with the Abbey property and single access route needed, needs contingency planning. Number 2 would be Auburn, best immediate. Again, I think it's in the same kind of timeline as the Spencer one. They both need renovations, but it is the fastest. Best regional access, highway workforce. Scalability does have a large footprint. Trade-offs, the security portion, which we're gonna have to definitely look into that and trying to mitigate some of those. Operational compromise, retrofit limitations, and upfront cost buyout and renovation. Then up comes Sutton, due to the security. Why it's ranked number 3 is the security, the facility quality, and the expansion, excellent long-term growth. That's possible build out outcome, trade-offs on the location, the recruitment, harder staffing pool, and timeline, probably longer than a renovation. And then Linden Street.
It wasn't that bad.
Sorry. Sorry. And then Linden Street.
Can you delete that one?
Lowest risk, low return.
You just want to get rid of the building. I got you.
So again, just the final decision matrix, just to show them all where they rank overall. That's that there. And then the numbers.
Can you go back one, please? Why is it, why, now, security wise for Auburn? Is it because it's right on the main road?
Because the main access roads hard to control, straight shots.
Highway behind you.
Yeah, highway.
Two sides are
12,
also you-
290 there.
What are you worried about, somebody ramming your fence?
Yeah, it's happening
Okay,
Lester and
So,
Shrewsbury.
so let's think about this. They don't have a lot of roadway, to turn in, you know what I mean? You need to gain a lot of speed to cross your gate.
You're on 290.
Excuse me?
You're on 290. It's just, you just gotta feel right.
A tractor trailer rolls over right next
If you really want it to.
Well,
Yeah, you have to go.
You know.
probably 15.
You can launch the vehicle and land on
290 is behind us. Well,
Yes, yes.
290 is behind.
Yeah,
us,
so, yeah.
12 is the end.
Yeah, 12's on the
Yeah,
engine side,
I-
290's on the back side, so.
Yeah.
If an 18 wheeler wanted to, if someone wanted to, so I'm thinking threat all across the board. 290, it's just a little veer off the road, and
I think they need to worry about IT.
You're-
more
you're-
than anything else.
you're in there, so
What if the tractor trailer rolls over into hazmat and a dispatch center right in the middle of it?
it's another. So just looking at that, that's
Yeah,
why,
no, I was just curious. why.
that's why it did, as it did, because of those certain.
What's the distance to the highway from that building?
20 feet toward it.
It's actually-
Yeah, back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when we walked up to that front door
Yeah.
that day,
It's right there.
that's what you were seeing behind.
A little wooden smite.
Yes, that was 2.9, 12 was a block.
I'm always amazed at how you, public safety brains work, you know, worst case scenario. for-
Absolutely.
That's the way we.
Appreciate that.
Because if we don't, the admin side will be yelling at us, why didn't we see it?
That's why prisons are always on a windy road.
And the ones, yep.
Right? I don't have to worry about behind the wall.
So cost comparisons, again, like I stated at the beginning, Auburn, to buy that building, it would be 5.5 million. Two different payment options, bonding, which is the level debt model versus the modified equal principal model. So this came from, what's their name? That company that we just allowed. Through Unibank, their financial, what is it?
Ufasi.
Ufasi, thank you. Through Ufasi, they provide these regarding the 5.5 million. This is what those payments would look like every year. Again, we'd be applying for those payments through the State 911 Department of Development. Next up, 167 North Spencer Road. Currently, right now, just without negotiating anything like that. Same with Auburn, that 5.5 could possibly go down. Same with the 540,000 a year for a lease, 20-year lease with 10-year extensions on top of that. So in regards to leasing, the state requires a minimum of 10 years on the lease for them even to entertain a lease payment being paid by them. So we meet that with the 20 years. Next up, Sutton, which is the build to suit, 1.6 million a year with 20-year and 5-year extensions. And then everybody's favorite, One Linden Street. 3 different options. As is, 75 to 90,000 for the lease. For the property owner to complete the shell and get that up to par. That lease will be 181 to 242 at the 10 to 20 year lease mark. Didn't specify, but and then as is sale, if we just wanted to outright build the building and then do all the work ourselves, between 1.1 and 1.4. So I will now open it up for questions, and we have one from a bunch of people, so hold on. Robin Grimm from Sturbridge. Robin, go ahead. Robin? I just saw
Hey
her.
guys,
Nope.
there we are. Try to unmute. Okay. So a couple things looking at this. I know that Spencer might be a little more ideal when you look at the comparisons with the stars, but from my perspective as an outside coming in, I like the fact that Auburn's going to go a lot faster. You know, we've signed on, we want to get moving. I know in our particular case, we're going to need to upgrade equipment if we didn't sign on sooner rather than later, or we're certainly looking at different issues that we have. I also think when we're looking at the price, I'd rather own this thing outright. I mean, you do the math on a 20-year on the 540,000, you're looking at $10 million over 20 years. It's about the same price when you look at the debt. It's about $1 million more actually when you look at the debt. So and I know it's the state's money, but I would rather just buy this thing, own it, and have the faster entry for the newer communities. I mean, from my perspective, the sooner we get this going, the better. So just my 2 cents worth on this, guys.
Jim?
Thanks, Mike. My question was relationship to the Auburn site. I know we went there last week. any feedback or any information back on the roof? I haven't seen these other properties that you speak about. The only one I'm familiar with is Auburn, but when we toured the facility, I had a question regarding the roof and when it was done and what type of condition it was in.
Yeah, so all those pictures were provided in that email that I sent out, I believe on, I think Friday, maybe. There was a link to all the pictures of the roof.
Okay.
From what the broker was saying, it looked like it was in decent shape, just pooling in the center, but that's about it.
Well, my question was more or less an assessment on the roof. I mean, I'm not qualified to make that. I'm not sure a real estate broker is qualified to make it. A roofer would be. Was there any type of roof assessment done on it?
So that'd be part of this whole process, Jim, is we'd be applying for the inspection as well. If this is the property that is being picked, we would apply for the inspection, and during this process would have an inspection done of the property completely to see what all the hazards or what needs to be mitigated prior to the purchase of sale. So that's all part of this process.
So if the property comes back and it needs a ton of work, or it's not something that would be cost effective for us during our due diligence period, we'd be able to back out and look at another property. Is that what you're saying?
This inspection would be prior to. We'd be kind of confined to what we could do after that because we're applying for this in the development grant, right? So it could push off another year if this property was noted that there's more money that needs to be invested than it's really worth. Then it could push it off another year. Within that development grant that we do apply for right now, we could modify it to move to another property, but again, you're going to be set at whatever you went in for pricing wise. So if you utilize some of those funds, you're only going to have what's left over to keep the project moving forward. So
yeah, it just seems like we're putting the cart before the horse. I mean, I don't know the condition of any of these properties, besides what a realtor wants to tell you. And I'm sure, they want to make a commission. So, I mean, I don't know, I don't know how somebody can make a decision based on that. I mean, if you're saying that we can back out, then, that's a little bit better. Not great, but a little bit better. And, I just think that this is a very large decision when I've only seen one of these properties here. I understand that there's times sensitive with the grant and different things, but this is a very large decision. But if we can have some type of clause where if this doesn't work out, then we can back out. I mean, I know Westcom went through a lot. That didn't happen overnight. That took several years, and there were several issues with that building that they took for them to get, resolved before where they got to today. So this thing is not, we have to anticipate things that are, this is, we hope everything goes smoothly, but, realistically, there could be issues.
Through the chair,
Yes.
I got a couple of things. One, I would like to get a recommendation from the director. Two, I'd like to get a recommendation from the operation board, just so that's out there. Three, I'm going to talk about Spencer. I had actually proposed Linden Street. I think we all know that now. Seeing our options, if you ask me, it's not the best option. And I really admit that it was a good idea for Barry worth looking at, but it just doesn't play out. In terms of Spencer, the Abbey, and we're looking at buildings, I believe the Abbey's 10 years old.
Yeah, 2013.
So it's all got brand new systems, it's got robust fire hydrant systems up there. It's a great building, it's wide open. In terms of timelines between Auburn and Spencer, I would assume they're about the same built out, because you're just putting up some walls, you're not doing any structural work. I know we had talked about the foundation stuff that I saw in the Auburn building, but I think that could be mitigated pretty easily.
Yeah.
In terms of security and I'll stop talking. I think Spencer's the better site. I do not like that Auburn where it's positioned. That's my thing with that. And those are the two options between right now, if I'm being perfectly honest. I don't disagree. I think it would be much easier to buy it out and just be done with it. But as long as the lease is reasonable, I know the months have always been good neighbors to the town. I'll say that. And they've always been reasonable people. So as from a lease standpoint, I think we could survive and do really well. I think it's best suited to grow the district and position us for success. I'll get off my high horse.
Someone posted on that.
Go ahead, Jim, while I'm reading this.
So these figures here, Mike, they don't include a build out?
Nope, nope. So this is not including the build out. The build out would be next year, part of the development grant next year.
Okay, do we have any cost estimates for the build out for each of these locations?
That would be part of this year's development grant submission. Would be going for the lease, the architectural, the inspection for the property to make sure that the property is good before we purchase the property. All that would be done during this year. That would be all of fiscal 2027. We would take the time with an architect to build out and get numbers for the building that we select. Again, we have to select a property to move forward ultimately.
Okay. Then the reason why I asked that is because my decision might sway a little differently if the Spencer location has a $15 million build out and the Auburn location has a $10 million build out. It would be nice to kind of weigh and compare those.
Understandable, which again, all that would be paid for by the state 911 department. Chief.
So if we build a building, say, it'd be, other than your equipment, there'd be no cost to a build out because that's included in that price.
Correct.
So what is the actual cost?
Well, the build out, yeah, so Sutton is the 1.6 million.
Yeah, but that's
a shell. Yeah, that's a shell.
Yeah, but I mean, there's.
Then
no
we're talking
area
about,
built.
yeah, now the inside is the consoles. That's where it's the consoles, the radio, the network.
But
equipment.
my point is all the other current buildings that are standing, you're gonna have to buy them, so that's a cost, then you're gonna have to renovate them, that's a cost. And then you're gonna have to equip.
Yep.
So I'd like to see the breakdown in Sutton, because Sutton's basically a turnkey with the equipment in. So there's no build out renovation. Well, I'm just saying that's done when, that cost is done, built to suit.
Yep.
So the other ones are not. So I mean, you got the cost or potential lease of the building. So what, that's not a true, that's a turnkey, go in and put the equipment in and some, the other ones are not.
Correct. Yep.
So I mean, if we're gonna vote on something today, we need to know what the price would be.
For a build out, I can't give you that. Wait.
I
We
think
don't have
we
the
heard it, that for people to know that the Sutton location is turnkey.
Correct, and that's built to suit, yeah, so it's.
Built the way like you wanted with a gym and all the conference
Correct,
rooms.
Yep.
Without any excess costs other than 1.585
Correct.
per year.
Yeah, that's another $1 million.
Well, yeah, but you're not looking at your build out price.
But you're not paying for that. The state's gonna pay.
Well, the state's paying for this.
Correct, but if, at one point, you're gonna have to pay something.
Through the chair.
Yeah.
I think the thing to take into consideration with Sutton site too, which I'm not sure, that this is if the building is constructed for us privately and then donated to the district. The problem that we run into is we don't know if the Inspector General's office will allow that. So that's a huge point in this, because this is a $25 million building if this is a prevailing wage 30B project. So if the Inspector General says no, that you're not going to use state funds on a privately constructed building to be donated to the district, that changes this whole game, because now you're talking about $25 million brand new bill. So I agree with you. In a perfect world, if the Inspector General's office and the state allowed it, we are going to be spending more on the annual, but it's a new building. It probably all flushes out, but that's providing everything shakes out. And I'm not completely convinced without having a real conversation with the IG's office as to whether or not that's even going to be allowed. So that's my concern with the Sutton.
And then Spencer wanted, not Spencer, sorry, Rutland Fire wanted to put this out there as well. So in elevation where these facilities sit, the Spencer Abbey is at 975 feet, Auburn 556, and Sutton 696. Again, why that matters is us getting connection to our systems throughout the district as well. Having that higher elevation will allow us to see more as well. If not, tower will have to be implemented at any of these sites to make that work, or private fiber or town-owned fiber to make that connection outward bound.
For the chair, just as a follow-up. So I think on paper, I think the Spencer building is a better suited building for height and all of those things. My only concern with the Spencer building, and it doesn't matter whether the building was in Spencer or Sutton or Auburn or anywhere, is I just have some reservation about a lease and not owning it. That's really what I've been grappling with all weekend. And I'll just put it out there as a member of the operations board. It concerns me that we would potentially have, a $540,000 a year lease payment. That's, and again, it's not, depending on whether you're doing the level debt model or the principal model, we're not talking about an astronomical amount of money above what the lease payment is. But as we move forward, there is going to be a struggle on being conservative, on the operation side versus getting what I think we all signed up for in this, which was improved service, which is going to take personnel. And I would rather see any additional money that we have in our operations budget, making sure that we are not short-staffed in the center and that we are ready on day one to turn the key. And we're not all looking at each other saying, we weren't prepared to do this because we don't have enough people. So I think budgets are going to be tight. And I just have the hesitancy, and I talked to Pete Kinnis from State 911, and the reality is that there's no one in the state that we can look to say, how is your lease option working out? Because the state only allowed lease options to be eligible in this year's grant.
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
So they're currently outside of the state. There is currently no regional center that is leasing a building unless they're leasing it from a municipality. No one has a private lease. Now, again, I'm not saying that the Abbey isn't going to be good neighbors, but we got to make sure that in a private lease agreement, that this thing's bulletproof in terms of notification to throw us out, whatever other issues are going to come down. It's going to be much harder to manage a private lease deal than it is to own our own property, in a municipality, regardless of where that may be. So I think, yes, on paper, I think the Spencer site is, if all things were equal, I think the Spencer site affords some things. My only hesitancy here is that we're paying more money on a lease deal. And even though the state's paying for it, at the end of the 20-year deal, we've spent $5 million more on this building than we would have if we just bought it outright. So that's my only concern.
Through the chair. So 2 points. Well said. In terms of employee retention, I think the Spencer site's better positioned to surrounding communities that are coming in. Just to that point you were making. In terms of the lease, I get the concern. I understand there's none in the state that have ever done this before. But I don't think there's anything wrong with being the first one to do it.
You know, I've lived my whole career on that.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, it's a great building. The monks are looking for long-term stability. I know that from our interactions, they don't do anything fast, honestly. The fact that they even agreed to this was astronomical as far as I'm concerned. The chief knows the monks a lot better than I do.
He was one.
Like, that was their big thing. They don't want just turnover. They want consistency. So that was their thing. And they'd much rather deal with the municipality than they do with a private user. So, mainly points.
Sorry.
A couple of things, you know, Chief Coleman said a 20-year lease, it was gonna be $10 million more. Just for clarity, it's just $1.3 million more, just for, we're all aware, just the difference is after the 20 years, it's just a $1.3 million difference. Follow-up question is, it's faster to go into the Auburn building than it is the Spencer building, but do we know how much faster it's gonna be to go into the Auburn building than the Spencer building? Do we know what the timeline is?
The only reason why I say it's a little bit faster is because the property is smaller in footprint size wise, where Spencer is so like the dispatch center, it's 14,000 square feet. That's half of the Auburn property. So that's a very large space. That's going to take some time to come up with a design. Like, again, does a lot have to be done in there? No, it can be floors, consoles, and figure out how to dampen the sound going through that very large area. There's different ways of doing that. So again, that can be very quick. The other room that I showed, that smaller room where all the admin, that's where all the walls are going to have to go up. And again, those ceilings are high. So again, I think it all depends on what we're going to build out. If we're going to build it all out at once or do this as a phased project, that's an option as well. But again, it's without engaging with a contractor or architect to see timelines on this, it's really hard to tell.
Okay, and do we know if the lease agreement would include, like, the maintenance of the building would be our responsibility?
It'd be ours, yeah.
Okay.
Through the chair. My God, Auburn building, I know you had indicated that you wanted some vapor items.
Yeah.
Going to be able to be accommodated there.
Not sure. I'm not sure if either property would be able to accommodate that, even Spencer, I'm not even sure they would allow that either. So, and with Auburn, I don't think we're going to be able to accommodate any garage. That's going to take up quite a bit of parking space if we did it right where the loading dock was, that area. That's, I think, the only reasonable spot where you could actually do that. But again, that was just the whole district assets. You know, if District 7 has their own places now to hold their assets, then we just vaccinate that off the list, but they don't have the building in short. For any property.
Yeah, the only reason why I asked is if you indicate that.
Yep, yeah, previously, yes, yep. There's questions on, no, Keith Parsons first.
Did Father Vincent mention anything about perhaps purchasing it? I know it was something that we had brought up to him.
I brought it up to, is it Wally?
Yep.
Or, yeah,
So,
Wally,
yeah.
yeah. He said very unlikely that he would entertain that.
I can't imagine them ever wanting to.
I can't either, but we brought it up with the caveat that if we ever did move out, to refer back to the Abbey. Because it's on their 2,000 acres up there. But I think they'll be amenable to working with us on the lease as well. This was rough and dirty a couple of days ago that they met with them.
What do you mean by working with?
Perhaps
Extending it
lowering it down.
longer?
I think they would love to see it 99 years, to be honest with you. They would want to see someone there forever. That's going to be a good steward, and they would much rather see municipal use of it. They've had some other offers for private use of it, and have turned them down because they didn't want to see a ton of traffic and things like that.
So we think that the 548 acres here is just sort of a beginning negotiation.
Yeah, they gave us a price what they received from a real estate agent for square footage, amount per square foot. And that's what it came out to. So I think there is possibility of massaging that down a little bit. They were just throwing that out there. That was on Friday last week.
Yeah, we haven't had the opportunity. It was very, like Chief Carson said, it was very quick. Like we went, did something very similar, like a PowerPoint, so that, because their committee didn't have to vote on it first. That's why we put it, we didn't know if it was gonna be an option or not. So yeah, that was just what they threw out.
So maybe if a longer term lease would lower that yearly amount. Correct. Correct. And they threw 20 years out because they want to make sure you're gonna be there a while, and I had said to them, we do 50 years, I think you'll be fine. You know, going forward, and there's plenty of room up there for expansion, not only in the building, but outside of it. So,
Through the chair,
Robin.
can Chief Parsons just talk a little more about the driveway and the road, because that's gonna be.
So there's four, about minimum access, there's actually four main access routes into the property. There's the one off of Route 31. It goes up, it splits, it goes to the church area where the public is invited. There is a gate there where it enters into the Abbey property and it goes up. There is another gate off of Route 31 down by Guaranteed Fitness. That's not used at all. And there's a gate that goes over to Northwest Road currently. And then the main gate that I was referring to with Father Vincent goes over to Browning Pond Road. Browning Pond Road, I thought was going to be the best access. That way they did not have any issue. Now, Alta Crest Road, that goes over to Route 31. That's kind of a long road. That's Browning Pond Road. So the other Alta Crest down below, that goes over to Guaranteed Fitness. The main access is off Route 31. There's a gift shop there. You can see where it splits. Right there, the right goes up to the church, which is open to the public. There's a gate there now. There's a gate on Alta Crest Road way down by Guaranteed Fitness. There's a gate on Northwest Road, right down to the left, down on the bottom, Mike. Right there. Wow. That goes up, excuse me, by this old schoolhouse there. Then Browning Pond Road was the main access road that I thought we could utilize. It would kind of alleviate any traffic coming up the main road for them. There is screening right by the church there of trees, and we could put more trees, whatever, if that was a concern of them, of them seeing it from the church, but you're not gonna see a lot of traffic.
Where's the building road?
Yeah.
Right there, right where it says Saint. Yep. Yeah, it's a few thousand. Yeah. For people online, right there.
So Chief, you're thinking that, what's the name of the road?
Alta Crest, they used to be the Alta Crest Farm.
So are you thinking that they would allow us to utilize that road as the entrance without constructing a new road?
Yeah, I think the road is fine, myself.
Yeah, so just to elaborate on that, because Father reached out on Saturday. So this was one proposed this way into the facility. He did propose coming through the main, so sort of here, around, let me zoom in actually. Come on. So one route was that he proposed was coming through here, through this driveway here, all the way around. He didn't, this one was also on there as well, coming around this way as well. So those are the three routes on top of building a road through here over to Northwest Road. So those are four.
I think if he's amenable to either the 31 or that road there south, I think those are better alternatives than Browning Pond, just from a distance. So if he's amenable to the 31 entrance and split left, I think that's a.
Yeah, I think going through here goes through like all like the business part of.
Yeah, we only kill biz stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not really the church area and all that, it's the business side.
Where they have the trucks come through.
right.
Robin had a question.
Again, just a comment on following up on what the chief said. I do go back to the concern I have about leasing. It's a new model, if you will. The state's just sort of started doing it. And I know hopefully none of us will be sitting on our desks 20 years from now, But I do want to look long-term here. There's just a little bit of a discomfort for me that to not own this in the model that we're doing. And again, just a comment, and I defer to the operations people on, you know, the ability for build out and all of that, but I'm just far more comfortable owning something, especially given that the price, it's probably going to be less if, or negligible. But just, again, just my take on that. I just have a concern about that.
And then Jim?
Yeah, my comment is just on the build out aspect of this. You know, I think we have to plan in budget, you know, that this is going to be a public construction project. You know, of anything else absent of that, I just don't see that getting approved by the Inspector General's office or the Attorney General's office. I think that we would have I think we would get criticized by labor, you know, if we went that route or try to go that route. I just don't see how this cannot be done and assume that this is going to be a public construction build out project.
Who's chairing the operations committee right now?
He's on maternity leave.
I know, but somebody acting chair right now.
That'd be the chair, and he's.
Somebody wanted to acting chair? Raising hand, anybody?
He's not on either. So.
So what do you start, like, what's your recommendation out of all of these?
For me, so I understand everybody's concerns and everything. For me, for future build out, you know, long beyond probably me even being there, but I'm looking more 40, 50 years out. Spencer does have the largest floor plan currently right now to build out, acquire agencies within central Massachusetts. Whether it's consolidating other regional centers into us, does give us the largest footprint, the most room for future growth. Both buildings, Spencer and Auburn, are both great options. For me, just for future growth, what we could do, I think we could do more in Spencer than we could in Auburn. That's just my opinion. And just looking at timeline as well. So I'm taking that into the account, right? Everybody has stated that they just want to go. My current 5 communities are looking for reductions in assessments now. 6 are looking for reductions sooner than later. So taking in time frame as well. Both buildings, Spencer and Auburn, they're both going to take roughly probably comparable, maybe Spencer a little bit longer to outfit, but both pretty comparable. But just to get there quicker, it's quicker as well as the future growth. That's my recommendation.
Okay. Well, just a question on the construction timeline, so I want to make sure that we're clear. You're really bound by the fiscal year. So this fiscal year is going to be purchasing the building, architect, render that. So we're not really looking at construction until 28, regardless of which building we go in. So the timeline really doesn't change because we're bound by the grant fiscal year. We're not going to be able to start construction until fiscal 28 anyway.
Right.
But both buildings would be.
So I'm also taking into account the other 2 as well. If it was a full build, it's going to be, if we were doing it FY 28, that's going to be longer than a renovation. That's why I'm saying we're taking into account time.
Right.
I know both of these.
Spencer might actually.
Both of these may be quick. This one's going to be longer because it's full construction, as you know. That's where I take the time. Obviously, all these are going to start at the same time.
Right.
Just depends on how long each one is going to take. These 2 are probably comparable. This one is probably a little bit longer because it's new construction. It's a longer process than just renovate.
Yeah, gotcha.
There's a question down there.
My only concern with the Auburn facility, it's on is location. You've got 212 in front, 290 behind. That's my big concern, is having those two main roads right there. There's not a lot you can do with the site in regards to security. You can't really add on, it's on a 1 acre site.
Yes. Yeah.
There's not a lot there to it. And I don't want to keep pushing the Spencer site, but it's well off the road. No one's even gonna know it's there.
No, I agree.
Do we want to take a vote?
Yeah, well, his comments and.
I was just gonna say, I don't know, if somebody needs to chair the operation board, I don't care if it does it. But I would like to see a recommendation from the operation side at some level.
I got one more for operations here. Chief LaVoy
Thanks.
from Warren, go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, just two quick things. First, I agree with what Chief Coleman said. I do think that we should not bank on the IG, doing any kind of flexibility there. I don't think that that's going to happen. So I think that is a factor for any new build there. I think we would have to fall under all the procurement laws and make sure it's done correctly. And second, you've mentioned future growth a few other times. Just for clarity, are there any other communities other than who is sitting in this room right now that have reached out? I understand that Southbridge is still on the fence and they're working through things, but are there any other potential communities that have shown any interest in this, in the background here that you guys are aware of at this time?
Negative, it was just Charlton. Oxford did a search and got back to me and stated that they didn't have anything available.
I think he's on.
Oh, to join, you're saying?
Yeah.
Or,
Yes, that are looking to come on, other than the 11 communities that we're currently talking to. Are there other, that would affect future growth here, that would, in terms of square footage? Are there other communities that you have contacted you in any way, shape, or form to have interest?
we've been in contact with Millbury, Northbridge, Uxbridge, and Douglas.
Leicester is a potential as well.
Yeah, and possibly Leicester in the future as well. And yeah, one second, Gary. So those are the communities that we're talking to. We're trying to refine our numbers currently right now with the current 11 communities. From there, I can start putting together the evaluation packet like I did for the 6 communities that are sitting in the room right now to be able to give them a concrete number of what that would look like if they were to join our district. Conversations have been good. I've only been hearing rumors out there, so I don't want to make any comments on the record that may not be true. So there's potential though.
I understand that, and that's why I'm asking, just for clarity, for all the other towns, when we're talking about these sites and we're talking about expansion, I think it's important to note that these, conversations are happening and that these could, have an impact on where the direction of, and this is going and what building really is appropriate.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief. Jared, what was your question? I'm sorry.
I was just gonna ask, like, the state 911 plan for regional dispatch.
So state 911's plan is ultimately to regionalize every community in Massachusetts. Again, they have a study out with Mission Critical Partners currently right now to see if their next vision is to start taking regional centers and consolidating those in. That report should be available, I think, within the next few months. And what that depicts is how the state's going to be moving forward. So you could see, and again, this is just nothing set in concrete, but like it could be, hey, Central Mass, you're going to now take CA and Wachusett, if that's their vision moving forward with consolidation. So that could happen. So that's ultimately what they're trying to figure out currently right now with that report that Mission Critical Partners is doing.
Through the chair, just low hanging fruit on that same study is you have to put Webster and Dudley in play, and not to start rumors, because this is not true, right? So don't need to say, but Webster Dudley, who is considered a host regional, is now going to be surrounded by the Central Mass. So even them, despite the state maybe looking at a rec that has 6 or 7 communities and giving them to us, the low hanging fruit is to take Webster Dudley and close that rec and absorb it in here. So at a minimum, I think you're at least down the road looking at Webster Douglas.
And just to add on to what Chief Coleman's saying, I think you're correct because Webster and Dudley is reaching out more assets into their regional system.
Basically.
So they know that they're in danger.
Do we still have questions on?
I'll keep on looking because all the dinging. No, any other questions from any operations board member on Teams?
Chief LaVoy want to be the.
Chief Monaco.
Well, I mean, there's through the chair, I mean, for me, there's no decision. Usually 4, 5, 6, maybe even up to 8 with Webster and Dudley. You gotta go with the.
Hold on, Chief.
Said Mike, you gotta go with the room, because you're looking for 40 years down the road, and Common doesn't have any potential build out. So I mean, it's not rocket scientist.
So
Chief Monaco has questions.
you got a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Chief Monaco.
Yeah, not so much a question. I just, I just wanted to point out that it sounded like the admin board was looking for a recommendation. I like the Spencer space, the North Spencer Road spot. It's got the space, it's got the security, it's got the elevation. As far as location is concerned, it falls right between the 5 current towns and the 6 towns that are joining. Spencer's right in the middle. So if the operation board wants to, I would make a motion that the operation board endorse the North Spencer Road site.
Second, I'll second.
This is gonna be fun.
Well,
Roll
these 2 roads here.
Can we have the discussion first?
That's the operation.
That's the operation.
Oh, okay.
Separate from you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So I think we need to do a roll call now. Do you want to?
We just want to make sure. Keep our.
Got a second.
All right, we'll start with the operations people that are on Teams, starting with, I wish this would, oh, you know what? Hold on 1 second. Okay, I see the members. People. There we go. Chief LaVoy,
I would vote yes in support of the North Spencer Road site.
Chief Millet, you're muted, Chief.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
I'd vote yes, too, I guess.
Chief Desert.
I'd vote yes. Yes.
Sorry. Butchered that. I'm gonna butcher this one. Chief DeVigilio, I can't say your last name. DiVigilio, sorry. Sorry, James.
It's all right. I vote yes for the Spencer site.
Chief Knipe,
Rutland votes yes for the Spencer Road site.
did I miss anybody? Oh. No, Monaco made the motion. Does he, he has the roll call too. Yeah, Chief Monaco.
Aye.
And anybody else from operations online? Lieutenant?
Jeremy Burnett, Oxford Lieutenant, aye, on Spencer. No Spencer.
Deputy
Glenn Johnson, Auburn. I hope for Spencer. Not Spencer.
Chief Barton?
Chief Martin, Charlton, both sides. Chief Bedford Spencer, yes, Spencer.
Chief Parsons, yes.
Chief Sheldon Oxford, yes. Chief Mills Auburn, yes.
This way.
Chief Mathosito, yes.
Chief Rosso from Sturbridge, yes.
Last chance, anybody on Teams that I missed? Okay.
We'll do a roll call vote, or are we ready? We actually, hold on.
Question.
Sorry, I'll need a motion from the administration board, and we can second it and open it up to discussion if there's any additional comments.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion, I do have one here, and you as well, right?
Okay, discussion.
Jim?
Yep, my question would be, Mike, so the Spencer site, the lease at 167 North Spencer Road, you know, if that site was to move forward, again, I haven't seen the site, don't know anything about it. But if that site was to move forward and we were to go on and request all of that, we would be locked in under that type of scenario. If for some reason that Spencer site did not work out, we'd be locked in under those types of, you know, lease agreement, or you can only get something that's, you know, $540 a year or less.
We do our due diligence and have an inspection done, and if the property did not meet the needs of the district, we would not move forward with that property.
But you had mentioned something about if there was, if for something didn't work out, then because we had started with this 540, we would be locked into finding a comparable property at 540 or less.
Right, or we go in for a modification for next year, so we wouldn't be able to ultimately enter into a lease agreement or purchase and sales for another property until the next following grant cycle. If we
Okay,
did
so
not have
so you would be locked in at trying to, if for some reason this site did not work out, you would have to find something either similar with similar lease terms or less, or you would have to wait till the following year to make a modification to the grant
we would have to go in for supplemental funds.
or supplemental funds. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Go here first, or Robin?
Yeah, just one quick question. I just saw this, I know we were talking about Douglas and Webster and other communities, but I'm just seeing this chat that says it's ideal as 911 will look to move C8 communities from New Braintree into this facility. Is state 911 going to be able to add to this facility without a vote from us at our operations board and our I mean, are we in an agreement where if we get this and it's able to be built out, that they can arbitrarily add as many as they want? Because that is not something I represented to my board.
No, that's a negative. The district holds the ultimate authority.
Okay.
The state may work with the district to possibly make that happen if they want it in the future, but it's, again, not something that's out there, so I don't want to be spreading that around. That is not currently what the state's trying to do.
Okay. Okay, I just wanted to be clear that they don't put the condition on us. You know, you can have this, but we can dump 4 more towns in when, you know, as we see fit.
That's a negative.
Okay.
No.
Okay, great. Thanks.
That's it up there, out here.
So my only thing is, with Spencer, I like the property. It's the lease I have a little issue with, and like Sturbridge was saying, you know, she didn't want to kind of like throw money out the window for long term, you know, without owning it. But if we can extend that lease year, I mean, let's say would they do 40, 50-year lease, you think? Without an issue?
It was, he wanted at least 20.
At least.
Correct.
So what do we throw 50 at?
They want a commitment.
We got the broom there to expand,
Yeah,
right?
so again, all these prices on here are all subject to negotiations. These are just-
Okay, so those are base.
Yes.
Okay,
No negotiations for any of these properties have been done.
so that was just a starting.
Yes.
All right.
Correct.
Okay, I'm good.
Austin first.
Austin, go ahead.
Excuse. So, as we just mentioned, this is all hypothetical anyways, because you still have to conduct procurement. Correct. Right? So essentially you're asking us, I think, for a consensus for the type of facility and how you will be drafting. I assume you'll go through an RFP process for this one, right? Can you talk us through a little bit how you plan to conduct that procurement?
So
Just
again,
because there's a few different scenarios here, right? I mean, obviously, the consensus is towards the lease, that's still subject to change.
correct.
Can you talk a little bit about procurement? If you want to establish a building committee, I mean, it's gonna still take a while.
Yeah,
You're getting these rough numbers because you also need to put in your grant application next week. But
correct.
even still, that's.
Yeah, so I
not
can,
close to a ballpark estimate.
right, so I'm putting the ballpark into the development grant to hold a placeholder so that we can modify that up until July 1. So the grant can be technically modified and going up until July 1 to change that figure or whatever. Yes, building committee would have to be established. Procurement, I would be leaning on more of the administrative board for assistance with that. Again, I've only procured stuff for towers. So kind of the same, but kind of different at the same time. My experience level with procurement is not all there. I'm in the process of obtaining my, what is it, MCCPO, I believe it is. But again, that's where I'm going to lean on the administrative board for a little assistance on that part of it, or the building committee moving forward. Ultimately, we're just looking for the route we want to move towards, the property to kind of, and then tailor the lease, not the RFP appropriately.
Yeah, so, right in line with what Austin was saying, that was gonna be, my suggestion is that, my recommendation, like, how I envision this vote is that we're moving forward to pursue the Spencer property, and then I think there should be another vote to create a small, subcommittee of 2 or 3 people from the admin board to work with you and your team on talking about the lease agreement. And, if you look at the average number, rough averages on both of those things, you're talking about $400,000. So if we could try to do a 40 or a 50-year lease at somewhere between, the average is really like 350 to 400 on the high and below. So if we could try to secure a lease between $350 and $400,000 a year for 40 or 50 years, that math works out better. So I think it's a couple different votes after this one, but,
Do we want to add 1 or 2 folks from the operations as part of that stuff?
well, I think we have to secure the lease first. I think that's on the admin side. And then when we're looking at the building side, then I think it's a subcommittee of both ops and whatever. But step 1 is to make sure we can secure a lease. And I think that's the function of the admin board. But yeah, that was just my thought.
So there's actually a third committee that has not been created yet, which is your finance committee, right? Each of the communities is supposed to have a finance committee represented. And I think that this is sort of a critical juncture in which we've been avoiding pulling that group together, but maybe we need to think more about making sure that we have the board in place before we begin procurement.
Yeah, so I'll resend out that email that I sent out.
Thank you.
Quite some time ago. I had a digital form that needed to be filled out by the administrative board members to elect their finance committee members so that I can start holding those meetings. So I'll resend that out. And if everybody's good, it's just a digital form. I think it's 3 fields that you have to fill out for each person. And I can start holding those meetings. And they're supposed to be part of the actual budget development as well. So I will again send that back out again.
I just think that it's important that we make sure that we have that transparency back to our communities through that representative. Are we ready? Is the admin ready to vote or?
What is the actual motion?
Motion is to pursue dispenser 167 North Spencer Road location for the regional dispensary.
That's it.
So,
Madam Chair,
yes, Jim.
a quick question. Was there or will there be a tour of the facility or?
We put a video in that email that I sent out. There's a full video of the walkthrough of that facility, along with the Auburn one, pictures of every property as well.
Okay, and that, was there a tour of the Spencer property? Or just you guys videoing it or what?
Due to the time constraints in this meeting, we did not have the time to set up a walkthrough of that facility, so we did a video of the walkthrough of that property. And we did the video walkthrough of the Auburn property for the members that could not make that one as well.
Okay, so in the future there will be, is that what you're saying?
During this process, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, hand up. Oh, okay, sorry.
Ready to vote?
No hands here.
Do you want to take us through the online votes first?
Hold on, let me get back to people. Adams is Adam part of Oxford, right?
Adam Menard.
Adam Menard?
Oh, Menard.
So he's part of Oxford, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You're the voting, right? Okay, all right. So I'll skip him. Hold on one second. Just want to make sure.
Jim,
So Maribel, Ocam,
Yes, Maribel Kim is a yes.
Melanie, Barry,
Yes.
Robin Sturbridge,
Yes.
Jim Warren,
No.
that's it online. Moving out here.
Kristen,
Yes.
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 Spencer, I.
Brown eye.
Yes.
Oxford's aye as well.
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that the admin board form a 2 or 3 member, I'll say 3-member subcommittee to work with Mike and his team to bring back a new lease agreement for the board to consider.
Can I modify that? Because I don't think we should negotiate a lease before we develop the RFP.
Yeah.
So maybe a technical review committee to help Mike with the RFP development evaluation.
Quite,
Yep.
but quite, I think maybe the RFP should come back to the full.
Yeah. That's fine.
I mean, we just.
But maybe, I think we should have a review committee make a recommendation.
Right, right, but to look at the RFP, if the full board can look at the RFP and then we can maybe,
Yeah.
by then, maybe we'll have our finance meeting in place as well, and we can put together a full review board for that. Is that
Yes,
acceptable?
I'll accept that.
Okay,
Will they second that? Second.
so the recommendation is to ask Mike to bring back an RFP draft document for the full admin review, and then the mayor will establish a review committee made up of members of all 3 boards. Yes, that,
Aren't we establishing a committee right now?
no. I think we want to put our finance committee in place, correct?
Can you say your motion again? Chief?
So my original motion was to form a small subcommittee to negotiate the lease, but Austin suggested that instead of putting that group together to do the lease, we put the RFP together.
So we're not forming this up.
We're not forming the subcommittee now. So Mike would put, although if Mike wants some assistance from the board, we could always put together a small group to assist Mike. But that would be putting together the RFP to bring back to the group.
So I don't even know if we need a
I would entertain that small committee assisting with the drafting of the RFP so that nothing is missed and we do our due diligence. I would prefer it.
Okay,
Sorry,
all right.
it's a big project. It's a big task and I
Yeah.
want to make sure it's done right. So having a little bit more knowledge at the table and drafting this RFP, I think is in the best interest of the district.
Anybody want to put together a motion that qualifies who shall serve on this RFP.
Do you want to finish the vote for their motion right now? Or mine is
Well,
for the RFP and then we'll do maybe afterwards.
yes,
Sorry.
nope. Sorry,
So to clarify, my motion is to put together a three-member committee from the admin board to work with Mike and his team to put together the RFP for architectural services.
And I'll second that.
All now. Maribel, okay.
Yes.
Melanie Berry,
Yes.
Robin Sturbridge,
Yes.
Jim Warren.
Yes.
That's everybody here, so now.
right back to,
Yes.
Yeah.
Spencer, aye.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Do we want to establish those individuals now?
Anybody want to do it?
I nominate Chief Coleman.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Jim.
I don't believe this is on the agenda, so I don't believe you can really establish this committee, right now.
I withdraw my nomination.
So we'll place this on the next agenda. Yeah, for selection.
So I don't think we don't need a motion to do what I'm about to ask, but I don't think it hurts to have yourself, Chief Parson. I think there needs to be some off the line discussion with Abby about police. I agree with Austin 100%. We're not there in the process yet, but I think we need to throw out to them what we're thinking. 50 years at maybe 350 to 400 in that ballpark. I think we need to get an assessment of where they're feeling.
Chief's the guy for that.
Yeah, well, he can get his robe back on and get up there.
Brown cord.
He went to get the robe.
To Jim's point, I think we've reached the end of the agenda. Thank you, Mike, for this presentation. Thank you, everybody, for your excellent comments and perspectives. And I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
See what you gotta say.